The radical power of softness, redefining strength in a world built for survival. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Carly Dillard, a visionary whose work has fundamentally transformed how countless Black women approach their relationship with vulnerability, community, and healing. Carly isn't just changing individual lives, she's creating a seismic shift in how we understand strength itself. Her revolutionary insights have rippled across professional spaces, challenging centuries of conditioning about what power truly looks like. In a world obsessed with hustle culture, Carly stands as a beacon, illuminating a path towards sustainable success rooted in authenticity rather than exhaustion. Have you ever noticed how we glorify the person who never stops? The one who's always on, always available, always producing? We've created entire mythologies around people who supposedly never sleep, never rest, never falter. And I'm here to tell you it's killing us. Literally, we've been sold this dangerous idea that vulnerability is weakness, that needing help means you're not capable, that taking a break means you're not committed enough. But what if everything we've been taught about strength is wrong? What if true power isn't about how much you can endure, but about how honestly you can exist? This question sits at the heart of what Carly Dillard explores in her work, and it's transforming lives, especially for Black women who've been carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. The statistics are sobering. Black women experience higher rates of stress related health conditions, from hypertension to maternal mortality. We're more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety and depression, yet less likely to receive appropriate care. Behind these numbers are real human beings trying to survive in systems that weren't designed for their thriving. But there's a revolution happening, a quiet rebellion against the superhuman standards that have been crushing spirits for generations. Tiashia Turner's story illuminates this perfectly. As a Black woman leader in corporate America, she faced relentless pressure to be superhuman, to never show weakness, never ask for help, never admit when she was struggling. This expectation didn't emerge from nowhere. It was built on generations of messaging that told Black women their value was tied to their productivity, their usefulness, their ability to endure. Itiashia spent years hiding her emotional needs, pushing through exhaustion, saying yes when her body was screaming no, until one day her body made the decision for her. Burnout wasn't just knocking at her door, it had moved in and was rearranging the furniture. But what happened next is where the story gets interesting. Instead of doubling down on the strong Black woman narrative, Tiesha chose a different path. She began speaking openly about her struggles at work. She prioritized therapy. She set boundaries around her rest time that were non negotiable. The response shocked her. Rather than losing respect, she gained it. Her authenticity fostered deeper trust with colleagues. She was eventually promoted into leadership roles where she could model healthy boundaries for others. Most significantly, she launched peer support circles within her company, creating safe spaces where Black women could share honestly without fear of judgment. These circles eventually inspired organizational policy shifts toward mental health resources and normalized conversations around wellness among Black professionals. This is what happens when we challenge the narrative, when we dare to be human in spaces that have demanded we be superhuman. But vulnerability isn't just about personal liberation. It's about creating sustainable success. Consider Monifa Johnson's journey. As a single mother launching a startup, She battled exhaustion while traditional entrepreneurial advice told her to push through at all costs. Even when it harmed her mental health, the pressure of being both provider and entrepreneur led her close to collapse until she made a decision that conventional wisdom would call career suicide. She paused operations temporarily, not to pivot her business model, not to seek additional funding, but to focus on therapy and self care routines while building peer accountability groups with other founders facing similar stressors. When she returned, something remarkable happened. With stronger support systems in place, Monafe's business grew faster than before. She credits this shift in mindset as key to long term sustainability versus the burnout cycles she had previously experienced. Her story became a model within local incubators. Now, new entrepreneurs are encouraged and resourced to prioritize well being early on rather than waiting until crisis hits. She redefined local standards for what success looks like among Black founders by centering humanity alongside ambition. This is the power of choosing healing over hustle, of recognizing that rest isn't a reward for productivity, it's a prerequisite for it. But let's be honest, vulnerability is terrifying, especially when you've been conditioned to believe that your strength is your only currency. Dolores McPherson understood this fear intimately. After surviving domestic abuse while raising children alone, she struggled under perfectionist pressures. She felt isolated, always trying to appear strong at work despite private pain. For years, Dolores believed admitting hardship would diminish respect, that showing her wounds would make her appear weak, unreliable, unworthy of advancement. But when she finally began speaking publicly about her journey, including her failures, something unexpected happened. Her honesty sparked dialogue among colleagues who'd also been suffering silently behind masks of invulnerability. These conversations led directly to new workplace initiatives supporting survivors' rights, plus flexible scheduling policies benefiting parents, balancing home and work demands. Her courage inspired dozens more staff members, especially young women, who cited Dolores' transparency as pivotal in their own paths toward wholeness. One conversation at a time, she shifted workplace culture away from toxic perfectionism towards collective care and showed entire industries that there is power in being real rather than relentlessly resilient. This is what Carly Dillard means when she says that embracing vulnerability is a radical act of self love and leadership. It's not just about feeling better, though that matters profoundly. It's about creating spaces where others can breathe too, where authenticity isn't just permitted, but celebrated. But vulnerability alone isn't enough. We need community to catch us when we fall. No one succeeds alone. Yet we've created professional cultures that reward individual achievement while minimizing the support systems that make that achievement possible. The truth is, behind every successful person is a network of people who made that success possible. People who offered guidance, opened doors, provided emotional support, shared resources. For Black professionals navigating environments that weren't designed with them in mind, these support networks aren't just helpful, they're essential. This is why community building isn't a luxury, it's a survival strategy. It's why mentorship matters so deeply. It's why creating space where people can show up authentically isn't just nice, it's necessary. When we build genuine relationships, when we seek mentorship, when we lean on others during challenging times, we're not showing weakness, we're demonstrating wisdom. We're acknowledging the fundamental truth that humans were never meant to do life alone. And perhaps most importantly, we need to recognize that healing powers progress. We live in a culture that celebrates the grind, that glorifies exhaustion as a status symbol, that treats rest as something to be earned rather than a fundamental human need. But what if prioritizing our well being isn't selfish, but strategic? What if taking time to heal isn't a detour from success, but the most direct route to sustainable achievement? What if redefining success on our own terms isn't settling for less, but reaching for something more meaningful? True strength comes not from relentless endurance, but from allowing yourself to rest, to heal, to recalibrate. It comes from recognizing when old definitions of success no longer serve you and having the courage to create new ones. This isn't about lowering standards, it's about elevating them to include your humanity. So I challenge you today, not just to hear these stories, but to let them transform you, to question every assumption you've held about what strength looks like, to examine the ways you might be perpetuating harmful standards for yourself and others. I challenge you to practice one radical act of softness this week, to let yourself be seen, truly seen by someone you trust, to ask for help when you need it, to rest without apology, because this isn't just about personal well being. This is about creating a world where we all can thrive, not just survive, where vulnerability is recognized as courage, where community is valued as essential, where healing is prioritized as power. The revolution begins with you, with your willingness to put down the superhuman cape, with your courage to say, I am human, and that is enough. In your softness, you will find a strength that doesn't deplete you. In your vulnerability, you will discover connections that sustain you. In your healing, you will unlock a power that transforms not just your life, but ripples outward to change systems, organizations, and generations to come. This is the radical power of softness, and it just might save us all.